Listen to me. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk to y'all real quick. Hold on for a minute. Hassan Campbell, what's going on? Listen to me. I'm looking, and it looks like, the rift between Hassan Campbell and MYSONNE is kind of like approaching, ahead. And basically what's going on, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. It's kind of like another community. This is kind of like a conscious community on YouTube. I'm not a part of, you know what I mean? Like what they got going on. You got Sonetta, you got Hassan Campbell, you got like other people that are in the conscious community. Shout out to them. No disrespect to them, but it looks like Hassan, which has got a big YouTube channel, he's got like over 200 some thousand subscribers. And, he's constantly trying to, for the most part, inform the people about what's going on with how he believes things are being done in the government, or like within their local like municipalities, and what he feels like the people as a whole, like of the culture, how they're being treated by like entertainers and things like that. So he pretty much gives his perspective on it. So some people don't know who this guy is, some people do, you know what I mean? And he's pretty much the guy that outed like African Bambaataa. He's been on Queen's Flip's channel, and he's been talking about just a lot, with mainstream media. He kind of like attacks Jim Jones. He's been going in on the Tekashi 6ix9ine situation, basically for the most part in favor of like, what Tekashi, how he's been acting, how he's been trolling and stuff like that. But for the most part, Hassan Campbell, his content is geared towards trying to awaken like people into like a new understanding on how things is actually going, like, in the community and what people don't see. My personal opinion on it, what I'm saying, I see that there's kind of a problem. I don't have a problem with Hassan Campbell. I feel like, for the most part, he does what he does. He's an entertainer. He maintains, kind of a presence on the internet. He's constantly uploading. He's going live. He's talking about different, subjects. I don't have a problem with him. You know what I mean? I think he's kind of entertaining. Somebody just put me up on him, probably like a few months ago. I think he's like doing what he's supposed to do. Here's the thing, he's been calling out MYSONNE for a while, and everybody knows that MYSONNE, he's kind of, he's been on My Expert Opinion, like he's been in the battle rap world just a little bit, and MYSONNE has kind of been on kind of, an awakening campaign, pretty much like trying to get people to fight for their rights, against like police brutality. So he's been doing like a tour and helping like the BLM, you know what I mean? Like, y'all know what that is, but basically kind of just like protesting and organizing and going to different like cities and states and trying to make sure, for the most part, people are, trying to make a change on what's going on in the landscape of how crazy things have been in 2020. You know what I mean? Like, can't say all but some things like on this platform, and it seems like, to me, like watching, I see Hassan Campbell, he puts out his information, on how he feels like, things are going, and it, for the most part, it's kind of reversed. You got Hassan Campbell, he's fighting against, what happened like with the police and different situations. And you got Hassan Campbell basically saying like, I would never be on the front line. I wouldn't be out here trying to help. I feel like George Soros is behind all of this. I feel like that movement has been hijacked. I'm not getting involved in it. And he's been like really critical on MYSONNE, and he's been critical on Tamika Mallory, that's been kind of speaking out about a lot of these different things. And some people are kind of looking at it like, okay, Hassan, you're talking reckless about like MYSONNE and how you feel like, his leadership and how it's not really needed, like in this type of capacity, or, trying to kind of get people together to try to riot against certain things. You feel like his energy needs to be in a different place, and you've been going in on him on your YouTube channel for a while now. You know what I mean? It's like every other YouTube video you make, you're talking about, my sign. It's not just talking about my sign or being critical towards my sign. It's more so defaming my sign. It's getting to the point to where it's like that. To where, every video is kind of just like, my sign ain't this, he ain't that, he ain't really about this, he ain't really about that, he's misleading the people, he's not doing what he's supposed to do, and he should be doing this. And, so my sign gets to the point to where he like feels like, all right, this guy's been talking about me for months. You know what I mean? Let me go ahead and respond to him. He puts out a video. Now, the video is pretty much touching on the, no pun intended, no disrespect, but he's talking about the situation that Hassan Campbell went through with African Bambaataa. You know what I'm saying? Africa Bambaataa, however you want to say his name, which is supposedly, like people say, like the father of hip hop, that, ended up, with the whole Hassan, like he tried to, do something bad to, like, Hassan Campbell, and Hassan Campbell pretty much like aired it out. But Hassan has kind of maintained, or tried to maintain to the public, like this image, that I'm tough, I'm rugged, if you try me, you're going to have a problem, this, that, and the third, and it's even boiling over to, when he addresses like my sign, he gets a little bit of aggressive on how he talks to my sign, and, any other like person that he may have a problem with, but particularly my sign is starting to boil over. My sign pretty much responded, and he's just like, yo, if you feel like you this tough and you feel like, you this gangster and this and that and the third, like, why is the person that, harmed you in the way, that you saying like harmed you, why is that person still around? You know what I mean? Like, he's basically putting it out there like that, and he's breaking it down, like the whole story of, what's going on with Hassan, what he went through with African Bambaataa, and he was just like, yo, like, you really can't even talk to me because you went through that and you did nothing about it, but yet you like hooping and hollering, and you trying to like downplay everything I got going on, and you talking, and it just don't really make sense to me at this point. So how, my sign is pretty much, kind of going in on him. So I'm looking, and it looks like Hassan Campbell, he puts up a video, and in his video, he's pretty much he's reacting to the video that my sign put up, and he's saying like, yo, like, you saying all this, and I ain't this and I ain't that, but I asked you for help and you didn't help me. My problem is, like, Hassan Campbell, much respect to you, like, I'm not doing like a bad video on you, but why are you saying like my sign is not who the people need to follow, or the people need to be, really in tune with, or, going along with whatever he's going along with, but then you saying like you needed his help. You know what I'm saying? And you trying to like diffuse what my sign put out there. You saying like, yo, like, what does me being tough have to do with anything? When, my sign is basically saying like, you saying you tough, you constantly, Hassan, like, I got to be real, you know what I mean? Much respect to you and, what you do, but you do act wild tough, like in your videos. So you acting like that, and you can even see it, no disrespect, but you can even see it with Sonetta, and when you met up with Sonetta, like in your hood, you were kind of like extra tough with him, and you were putting on like this bravado, like you wanted to do something to, Sonetta for having an opinion and cutting him off and getting overly aggressive, but, the cameraman kind of like diffused a lot of that. But it's like you present this persona like you really about yours, you tough, this, that, and the third, but, my sign is calling you out right now and saying, if you really that tough, how did all of these situations happen? And this person has never been dealt with, as a result of what he did. And my son is basically saying, if anything like that would have happened to me, like, I'd be, you know what I mean? And I would never advocate violence, but in a situation like that, I don't think my son is really all that wrong. You know what I mean? He's basically like, if a situation like that would happen to me, I would probably be, in custody, and that's basically what he said. I don't feel like my son really went as hard or was really as disrespectful as he probably could have been from all the negative press, at least on your end, that he's been getting, and I will say this, Hassan Campbell, he's got his points of view. My son's got his point of view. My issue is I'm looking at Tamika Mallory and I'm looking at, my son, and I'm looking at they're kind of like doing their thing in their mind. They're trying to like help the people and educate the people, and I feel like on your end, it's more so like I'm not helping the people, but I'm going to talk about it, but I'm not going to get out in the field, and be in any marches. For you saying it's like, the movement has been hijacked. It's like a George Soros type of thing, and they don't really even understand what they doing, this, that, and the third. You enlighten your fans on that part, and you feel like they're misguided, but it's kind of like, Hassan Campbell, I understand. Maybe you want a response from my son because he made a response and you actually reacting to the response. It's kind of like, to me, I feel like the video that my son put out, I think was valid. You know what I mean? Like, I think it was valid. I don't think he was really trying to he did kind of get a little crazy, you know what I mean? But he could have got a lot more crazy, like in the recent months, as to what the information that you was putting out on my son and talking about him, and I think we get to a point when we do media or when we do we talk to our fans, we forget that although we're talking about other people, we have a fan base and we're talking to people and we don't realize like the reach that we might have. You know what I mean? And when you like downplaying somebody like that, that's actually out here in the front lines, like trying to fight for his people, and you constantly like defaming his character, I feel like it's warranted for my son to go ahead and say something, and then the response I just heard from you, no disrespect to you, it's kind of just like, I don't think you really refuting anything, like playing a little bit of his video and, talking. It seems like his video is pretty much valid. He was just like, yo, like, how are you saying all this? And this has happened, to you. You know what I mean? So I do want to say, my son, keep doing what you're doing, but I understand that Hassan Campbell is feeling some type of way. But Hassan Campbell, you got to understand, I see you don't like a lot of people making videos on you, you know what I mean, and talking about you, you know what I mean, and and you calling these people like people that bloodsuckers, like trying to like take you down and stuff like that. And I understand it, like I see how it can be, like even in my realm of like battle rap, you know what I mean, like you talk about stuff and they try to do anything they can to like take you down just because people don't want to see you succeed, you know what I mean. So it gets like that. And I understand it, but you putting all this pressure on my son when he's already going through a lot. He's talking to all these people and you mentioning different interviews he's talking about and he ain't mentioning some of the points that you had and this and that. I'm starting to wonder, Hassan Campbell, is it a situation where you want to be in the seat that my son is in? I'm just asking you. My thing is, I feel like you got a big enough base, to where you could, if you wanted to, make an effective change, by getting out on the front lines doing things. But you do have a platform, so you can make a change like on your platform talking about different things, and I feel like for the most part, you have put out a lot of, intelligible content. But I do feel like for the most part, you do rag on my son a lot. And for not that many great leaders, from, where we come from, to be out there on the front lines, I don't feel like my son really deserves all that negative, like, press and publicity that you kind of giving him right now. But I could be wrong. You know what I mean? But just from what I'm seeing, I don't think he really deserves that. I think he's trying to, like, put his life out there and help people. And it's easy for us, even me, to sit behind a camera and criticize you or criticize my son, but it's different when he's actually out there doing the interviews. He's on the ground. He's got the police in his face, and he's trying to make a change and make a difference and, create, some sort of opposition towards our oppression, and if he's doing something like that, I can't get mad at him. You know what I mean? And I hear you saying like, oh, George Soros is sponsoring this, he's sponsoring that. I get it, but it's one thing to criticize somebody, but then it's like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? But no disrespect to Hassan Campbell or MYSONNE. I want both of y'all to do well. I feel like both of y'all are smart, intellectual people. Sometimes y'all have great points about yourselves. You know what I mean? And I want y'all to just grow. But the animosity and the constant, dissension between y'all two, I think needs to come to an end. And if it doesn't, why can't MYSONNE just go ahead and do what he does without constant criticism and ridicule and public shaming and some sort of embarrassment for getting out here and trying to do what he can do to try to help his people? You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. But I get how you can feel however you feeling, but at the same time, you your own man, MYSONNE is his own man. Like, even when you do other interviews that have nothing to do with the topic, for some reason, MYSONNE is always being brought up. So I don't know. I feel like it was kind of warranted for him to respond to you. The way he responded to you probably cut a nerve, and I get it. You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of people are probably going to upload that and talk about it, but you got to understand, like, even on that platform, or whatever platform we choose to be on, you can also get blogged on. You know what I mean? Like, I had to learn about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole me and Young Buck situation kicked off. I had to learn about people gonna blog. It is what it is. You develop thick skin for it. I'm sure you've got, thick skin, dealing with people blogging on you all the time. And you've been through a lot, obviously. People are still asking questions like, yo, Hassan Campbell, we just seen you, on camera, going crazy, on the police, saying a lot of things that were non-intelligible, just going off on the police when they were trying to help you, and, some people they're questioning whether or not the gun was really, left by people or if it was yours. You know what I mean? And what happened to you in those days that you weren't uploading? People are wondering these things. It didn't go away, but some people are choosing just not to talk about it. You know what I mean? Why was it that a big show, to try to bring some sort of unnecessary attention to a police situation that probably shouldn't have been? You know what I mean? In that particular situation. Was it just yo, you trying to cry out for attention? Did you have a nervous breakdown? Were you drinking? Was it something else? But I've never seen, MYSONNE out there like that. But I will say this about Hassan Campbell, other than that, and, how you was going in on the girl, at a bodega or whatever, for the most part, your content is conscious content. You try to, promote awakening for people. You know what I mean? So I can't down you for that. I think for the most part, you do a pretty decent job separating what rappers are putting out here versus reality, how they're living, and I like that. And I think a lot of people rock with you on that. That's why you get the viewership that you get, but at the same time, why can't MYSONNE live and do what he's doing? When he's actively out here trying to, not push a narrative necessarily, but awaken people to try to, fight for what they believe in. Not getting in all this political space stuff, because there's a lot of things I don't agree with a lot of different things. But why can't MYSONNE live? You know what I mean? And this is what people are kind of wondering. Why is his name being brought up in every video? Why is, he being clowned in every video? Or not clowned, but, defamed in every video. Why can't he just talk? You know what I mean? He's talking to big publications and they're talking about him. Is it an envious thing? Or is it just you feel so diehard in your beliefs that it's just you feel like something just has to be said about MYSONNE? And then even when he responded to you, and it was kind of low-key respectful, but not, you know what I'm saying? But it was respectful. You doing the ad hominem attacks. Oh, you bubble lick MFA and this and that and the third. Why do you have to talk to him like that? You know what I mean? Like, why do we have to resort to certain things like that? You know what I'm saying? I respect all people that are out here doing what they need to do. You know what I mean? In order to grow and to enlighten people to be better versions of themselves. But I just don't feel like it's right that my son is being attacked in the manner that he's being attacked. You know, and I understand you went through something, you know, that you feel like is a crazy situation. A lot of people look at what you just said, it's a crazy situation. You know, and some people, a lot of people, probably majority of people are probably going to feel like my son, like, why would you allow something like that to happen? You know what I mean? Like, just being real. You could get defensive or upset about it, but why would you allow something like that to happen? That's how they feeling. You know, so we can't throw stones, you know what I mean, at people if we're not all the way right. But I do want to give you credit, you know, Hassan. I see, like, you know, there's been times that people aren't going to say this. You've been out, like, talking to people, like, in the streets and stuff like that about what's going on and trying to calm people down from, you know, looting and rioting and stuff like that. So I give you your props when I don't see nobody giving you props for that. You know what I mean? You came outside and you did what you felt like you needed to do to try to stop people from doing what they was doing. You know, but I just want everybody to have a cohesive type of, you know, we're going to be on the internet. It is what it is. But why does my son have to continue to get bullied? I don't understand it when he's out here with Tamika Mallory, and Tamika Mallory is speaking for the people. You're not speaking for the people. Tamika Mallory is. You know, why can't you get out there and speak for the people? You don't want to do it because you feel like it's an issue. It's a problem. You know what I mean? And you want to you like push a different type of agenda. You know, you stay in your lane, he stays in his lane, or both of y'all just talk, get it over with. Maybe meet up. You said you wanted to do something like a kind of debate with him. You know, maybe you feel like a debate will work. You know, maybe y'all can work something out. I think you said you got $10,000 for a debate with him to see whether or not he could defend his position on certain things. But when you disrespect somebody so much the way he's been disrespected on your platform, he may not want to debate with you. You know what I mean? Like, if he sees you in person, he may not have that debate type energy. You know what I mean? It's just something you got to think about. But I hope everybody getting their money, living how they want to live. But I'm out. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about that. Peace.